Hi, I'm Hayley, Manager of NTAA Corporate, and I have with me Riley Jones, the Senior Lawyer for NTAA, and he's here to give us some updates on discretionary trusts and things are going on.
That's right. Thanks, Hayley. Now, one of the most exciting things we've had happen recently, just for us, is we've had a new lawyer join us, Wendy Shang. And one of the things that we've just got to help us out with is a new product. It's basically a change to our existing discretionary trusts. And that's based on a recent problem we've identified in relation to discretionary trusts, which buy residential property in Victoria, New South Wales, and soon Queensland, because there's been changes to stamp duty and also possibly, at least in Victoria and New South Wales, changes in relation to land tax for discretionary trusts that buy or own residential property. And the reason this has come about is because the Victorian government last year, they introduced this stamp duty surcharge where foreigners buy residential property in Victoria. But when we got into the devil of the detail in the legislation, we could see that when we're looking at a discretionary trust, it assumes that any beneficiary of that trust who is a foreign resident is assumed that they can get all of the trust's property or all of the trust's capital. So if the trustee has the discretion to distribute all capital to that one beneficiary, and most discretionary trusts do have that broad discretion and they have a broad range of beneficiaries. The Victorian legislation, it seems to us, assumes that trust is now a foreign trust and it's going to pay the surcharge and possibly have the extra land tax as well. New South Wales just came out in June with a similar one. They, I think their legislation received royal assent on the 28th of June, and that is similar. It uses slightly different language and in some ways it's slightly broader than the Victorian one. Queensland also introduced legislation on the 27th of June, or it got royal assent on that date, which again is going to apply a stamp duty surcharge on foreigners, including foreign trusts, but that's from 1 October this year. And because of that, we've decided, well, for one thing, it hasn't really been out there, and we thought just to alert our members to this and also give them an option, we've varied our discretionary trust deed and we've got a separate product now which can be provided for people who are concerned about this. And I should note it's only going to be a concern where you've got a trust, you want to set up a trust which is going to buy residential property in one of these states, and there's a possibility that one of the beneficiaries will be a foreigner. So you could have someone quite remote who's never going to benefit from the trust, but technically it might be considered a foreign trust because of that. So what we've done is we've got this new deed called Discretionary Trust Foreign Exclusion, and that specifically excludes anyone who is a foreign person according to a particular definition of that term in some Commonwealth legislation. The reason for that is because we had a look at all of the different pieces of legislation. They're all a bit different. They all have a look at whether or not a trust is a foreign trust in different ways. But the New South Wales legislation seemed to be the broadest, and that refers to this definition of foreign person in this Commonwealth legislation. So we are basically excluding anyone who's a foreigner based on that definition from these particular trusts, if the member is concerned and wants to order one of these. We wanted to try and make it as broad and as simple as possible. So if we've got someone who just wants to buy residential property in one of these states through a discretionary trust, they've just got, generally they're expecting they're just going to benefit some Australian residents and Australian citizens. There's also a bit of a quirk with Australian citizenship. But if that's the case, then they can utilise one of these trusts, one of these new trust deeds, and that should be able to ensure that they don't have these extra stamp duty and or land tax, depending on the state they're in.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for developing that. So if you are concerned about that, you can, of course, send us an email or give us a call if you think you would like one of these trusts and it's going to be suitable for your clients, as Riley's described. You can order a discretionary trust as it is and just note special instructions for our team that you would like to utilise this type of deed, and we'll include that for you. So that's if you're sure that everything, you've ticked all of the boxes and you're ready to go ahead with that one and exclude all foreign beneficiaries, just order it online and add your special instructions that that's the type of deed you would like.